Well, hi guys, Emma again. Welcome back to Spare Room. It's another mortimer video because I'm sort of in the mood for that, and we're getting close to having him finished and ready to go, so I'm excited about that. I made a little drive plate to go on here, and I'm going to make a drive dog to go on the end. And they're probably both really good options for actual work holding. I found though at a yard sale what I thought was a headstock for a fishing reel lathe, or a fishing rod lathe, and hung on to it because it had this little chuck on it, which is steel. It's just a bezel scroll chuck. It's quite a nicely made 3-jaw chuck. And I thought, well, might have that. And I had trouble unscrewing it off the spindle. It was quite a cheaply made, or quite a nicely made headstock. But we'll get to that soon. What I'd like to do is make an adapter to go on there, so we can use this chuck. It's about the right size and weight for this machine, I think. I've got another one which is actually a good old Pratt, which has come out of the same factory more or less. It's 3-jaw scroll chuck, and that's probably just a little bit big and heavy for this, I think. We're going to break a spindle or something. It's just a bit big and it needs a back plate, so we might hang on to that for something else. But this one I thought would go on here and it'd be pretty useful little chuck. So let's have a look at it. So over here at the workbench, this had basically an aluminium extrusion that's been on some sort of bed with 2 ball bearings and a spacer in between to tighten it all up. And it had this little spindle in it with a lock nut on the other end. Pretty basic thing, really. I had trouble getting this chuck off the spindle and I wasn't sure whether it was actually screwed on or not, but when I have a look, for some unknown and strange bizarre reason, this is actually left-hand thread. So to tighten up, it's really got to spin that way. No idea. No idea at all. However, I reckon if we screwed that in there and either Loctited it or drilled a hole and put a pin in it or a screw in it to stop it unscrewing, then we'd never have a problem. Probably what I'm going to do is set this up in the lathe and drill him and bore him, hopefully, and tap it to the same as the spindle thread, and part him off and use that as a bush between this chuck and the spindle. So that sounds like a bit of a plan. Let's get in and do it. So luckily this spindle shaft seems to be pretty soft, whatever it's made out of. It's only 1020 or something. It's pretty easy to machine. So I've drilled it and I've run a tap through it in far enough to cut all the way through. Just with one end on the centre here, and I've just used a little spanner on there. And that's 1/2 inch 12, which is Whitworth, as you would expect on an American machine. But bear in mind that this was built 20 years after the end of the Civil War, or it was designed 20 years after the end of the American Civil War, so a lot of tool makers still had British roots. So there we go. Next job, I guess, is to part it off and put it all together and try it. So it's not straight. Should be pretty good. So there you go, I've Loctited that in and faced the back off beforehand. Yeah, that was yesterday, so I think that's probably going to be alright. It's not a bad little chuck. It's not a particularly high tension thing with these plastic soft jaws. I believe that this was off some sort of fly fishing rod or fishing rod or real maintenance equipment. If anyone knows anything about that, I know there's some fishermen out there, drop us a comment and let us know. But that's in there and I don't think it's going to come out, so let's put him on the machine. So that's on there. It's quite a firm fit, which is good. There's plenty of room here for a lock nut. Probably I'm just going to make a fairly shallow knot to lock that up to stop it moving, because it will come loose, I think. That's running pretty true there, don't mind that. So that's another job done. The only real jobs we've still got to do on this, and most of this is finished, the tailstock's pretty well complete. There's all works nicely. And it's got all the pieces underneath that we've made new. This would have originally come with a short one of these, and I'd still like to make one of those because this long one's a bit of a nuisance for short work. And these two brackets here, which are a bit rough and pitted, still need to be stripped and painted, and I might fill these up with Devcon or something just to make them look a bit prettier and feel a bit better. But these threads here are stripped and they're 1/4-24. I actually got a set of taps for them, so whether I block them and re-tap them, maybe something we've still got to do. There's two of them to do, so that's on the cards. Probably make a new one of these, but only about that long. And just braze him up. And we've only got one thumb screw for these, which is a bit cute and looks like this. one of course is completely stripped. But I have to make a new one of these too. And have a think about that. I've been putting these little jobs off. So there's not much more to do. Anyway, thanks for watching. Be kind to each other. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. I really appreciate your feedback as well. And more soon, guys.